Hey everyone, I'm just jumping on here to share how I was led to 5F Church. So, in the around towards the end of the summer, beginning of fall, I was reading the Bible for, I would say, around 3 hours, like every day, every morning. And it was the first time that I really actually tried to read the Bible like from start to end. And I had like a little workbook that went along with it to like kind of to help you. It was to help you understand the Bible like for beginners. And so I would do that workbook and read. And that was 3 years ago. And so I had never really read the Bible before like that. Especially growing up Catholic, like we just didn't read the Bible at all. Only the priest would at church. So while doing that, and when I finally got to the New Testament, I read the Gospels, of course, and then I read the book of Acts. And from reading a lot of the New Testament, I just knew that there was a giant, enormous disconnect from what I was reading in the Word to what I was seeing at church, to what I was seeing in the Christian communities, groups, whatever you want to call them. Because church didn't look like what it looked like in the Bible. These leaders or pastors weren't, I guess, healing the sick, casting out demons. Like none of that was happening at any of the places I've ever been to or around, the circles that I was around. And so I would only hear about that like in big places, like let's say somewhere in Florida or Texas, or when these ministers would go to like Africa or just other countries where these miraculous things would happen, but not really in America. And I knew there was something missing. I knew that what I was reading, what the Word of God, the Word of God, they say like the Word of God is alive. The Word of God is for now, is for today. It's not a history book, although many people, many Christians just see it as a history book and don't think that whatever is happening in those times is for us today. It's for us to see today, or even much less for us to do today. And so one day after reading, the New Testament for 3 hours that day, I just stopped. And I told God, and I said, Lord, I could sit here and do this for 3 hours for the rest of my life. That's fine if that's what you want me to do. I said, but this doesn't look, if someone from the world, if the world were to look into my life this whole week or this day and what I do on a daily basis, like that doesn't look appealing to people, because people are gonna be like, why would I want to sit there for hours reading the Bible, the Word of God? Why would I'd rather go out, I'd rather party, like being in the military and growing up with a strict father, I can discipline myself to do that. That was easy for me. But not everyone can do it. And so I told God, I said, I want my life to look like what it looks like in the Gospels, what it looks like in the New Testament, what it looks like in the book of Acts. That's what I want to live that way. Like, I want my Christian walk, my Christian life to look like that. And so a couple months went by, and then this very popular YouTube Christian influencer, whatever, he had a live guest on his stream one night, and it was Apostle Catherine Crick, who is the leader of the 5F church that I am now a part of. And so she was on this live stream as a guest, and so he was interviewing her and everything, and I believe like they even played like little clips. I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, I just heard what she was saying, I heard what was being said, and then I looked her up after that. And these videos that I was seeing, it was like the Bible came to life. It was exactly what I was searching for. It was exactly the things happening in the Bible are happening like today, are happening right now, have been happening already for the last couple years. And I just knew, like, it's like the moment that I saw that I heard that, it's like something inside of me just leaped, like something inside of me just like came alive, like something inside of me just knew that I knew that I knew that this is it. This is what I've been looking for. This is what I've been searching for. I had found it, and I was just so happy, and I couldn't believe this is for now, for today. Like, I've only read about it, I've only heard about it, like happening in Africa and places like that, but never like in real life, like that it's accessible, like to me, that I can just go to a place like this, you know. And so now, fast forward, I was like in 2021, the spring of 2021 is when I found 5F Church, I believe. But that's literally how I found it. Like, I just told God one day after reading my Bible for 3 hours, and I said, this is not what I see. There's something missing, there's something lacking in the church, and I don't want that. Like, I want the real deal. Like, I want to see these things. I want to see like people get freed and healed, like the miraculous. I want to be a part of that, you know. And so yeah, a couple months later is when I found 5F Church, and I've been there ever since then. I was seriously planted maybe like a year ago or so, something like that. But I've never ever regretted it ever since I found them. I was just so thankful. And even though many people say like, you can't do church that way, you can't do church online, you need to go in person, you need a community, this or that, but it's like my growth there, how much I've grown, the fruit that I'm beginning to see, it's like, why in the world would I leave this place? The miracles, the freedom I've experienced, me and my kids, the things happening in my life since then, like, why would I leave that place? You know, it's like I would never leave that place. Just like how Jesus, you know, when the when he had his following of people, and it was the day that he talked about that his body is the bread and the his blood, to drink his blood and eat his body or something like that. How like so many people, like thousands of his followers, left him, and then he turned to his disciples and he told them, like, what, are you guys gonna leave me too? And I think it was like Peter, Paul, one of them, they said like, no, if where would we go if we left you? Where would we go, you know? And that's how I feel. And I even told somebody this just this past week, and I said, many people have wanted to try me to pull me away from this church I've been at for a while now. And many times I've told God, I said, where would I go if I left you, God? If I left, you know, the God that is alive, the God that is not dead, the God that is doing miracles on every live stream, on every service, on every teaching. Where in the world would I go from this place? Like, where would I replace this place with? Like, there is no other place like to replace where I'm at now. Like, everything that is happening is just, I'm just left in awe after every service, every teaching, every live stream, of how God, what God does for his children is like, wow. It's like many times I'm like brought to tears just seeing someone be freed, be healed. Many times I've also just been overtaken by joy to see somebody filled with joy when on the live stream they were just so super severely depressed, you know. And I'm just like, wow, where would I go? How can I leave this place? I just can't. Like, God is not dead. He is surely alive and here, like moving. So I'm just here, and I'm gonna stay here, and I'm so grateful and thankful that God led me here after I cried out and asked him one day, like, this is what I want, this is what I desire, this is what I'm looking for. And sure enough, I found it.